Hi, my name is Annie and I'm so pleased to be with you this morning and for the next couple of mornings. We're still in Matthew and I'm looking at the end of Matthew 12 up to halfway through Matthew 13 this morning. The Bible Project gives a great summary of Matthew chapters 11 to 13. That basically it's a bunch of stories of how people respond to Jesus. Some people respond really positively, some people respond really negatively, and I just want to dig into that today and over the next couple of days. So I want to share two things today. One thing about Jesus and one thing about some people that were with him. So first thing, Jesus is not easily discouraged. If we have a really brief look back at Jesus's day up until our point in the text, it's been quite full on. He goes to some grain fields with his disciples, and the Pharisees appear and have a bit of a pop at him. So he withdraws from there, goes to a synagogue, heals someone, and the Pharisees appear again and have another pop at him. He withdraws from there, carries on preaching, teaching, healing. The Pharisees come again and have another go. He presses on and he carries on preaching and he carries on teaching, and still the Pharisees, you kind of think, where do these Pharisees come from? They're everywhere. But they come again and challenge and question, and not in a positive way, but in a, very critical, judgmental, who does he think he is kind of way. And then to top it all off, he's in someone's house preaching again, and then his family are outside knocking on the door, wanting to speak with him, interrupting him. And this is where our text starts. And the start of chapter 13, I was just the words struck me so much. That same day, Jesus went out of the house, sat beside the sea, and great crowds gathered about him. And I was like, that same day? Do you not mean that you went home and had a bit of a rest because it was a bit of a difficult day and maybe you tried again the next day? But no, that same day. That same day. I mean, Jesus is so unlike me. I get discouraged, pretty easily, I think. Some days it can be as soon as I wake up. I feel discouraged and I want to get back to bed because I'm already overwhelmed with the day. Some days it can take me up to tea time and I'm making a meal for my kids, which they all hate and moan about, and I think, well, why do I bother making food for you? Which I carry on doing, don't worry. But I just think, I get discouraged so easily. Weather, sports, work, COVID, friends. And I don't know where you're at this morning. I don't know if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling harassed, downbeat, like another thing has come, and whether it's homeschool, whether it's work, whether it's church, whether it's house situations, I don't know. But I just want to encourage us to look to Jesus again. He doesn't get discouraged. He doesn't grow weary. He doesn't faint. He's not discouraged by you. He's not discouraged by me. He's not discouraged by the state of affairs. He's lovely, and I want us to receive him again. Not as some... he's a great example, but if we just try and receive him as an example, we're going to wear ourselves out. I want us to receive him as a gift. What a saviour who doesn't get easily discouraged. And I want, I just want to encourage you with what he's like again this morning. And then secondly, I want to look at his family. Now, I think I've always thought that how Jesus speaks to his family in this scenario is quite harsh. It's almost like he's publicly disowning them or publicly shaming them. Who is my mother and my brothers? And I was like, it's a bit, thank God that he speaks and he corrects me. Because just reading this time, it's interesting. Why aren't his family there? Why aren't they in that house listening? Why are they outside? Coming from the outside, demanding, interrupting. And I just felt challenged about how do we come to Jesus? How do I come to Jesus? His family were the ones closest to him. They've grown up with him. They've known him his whole life. and yet somehow they're the ones missing it and missing him and missing the point, really. And I think, did they get too familiar? Is it the familiarity breeds contempt? Did they heard it before? Did they know it already? I don't know. Did they not feel it was necessary to be near him again and be with him and hear what he was saying? And I think sometimes we can get like that, especially if we've known Jesus for a long time or been in church for a long time. We can get a bit familiar and get a bit neglectful of what's important, and we stop sitting on the inside, humbly listening and hungry for him, and we can get a bit demandy from the outside. I know I can. I come from the outside, like, well, Jesus, rant. And I just want to encourage us again. I want to ask, how are you coming before Jesus this morning? I want to encourage you not to come from the outside, interrupting, demanding with your agenda, which, you know, it's not wrong to come to God with an agenda. He wants us to seek him and ask for him to come and his kingdom to come. But I want to encourage us to come humbly. I want to be like the disciples who are on the inside, hungry, listening, watching, waiting, ready to receive what he's got to say. I think what he has to say to me is far more important than what I can say to him. And just to quickly finish, because waffling. I love how Jesus talks about his disciples at this point. They will have left everything to follow him, left their jobs, left their families, and right there publicly in front of everybody, he says, here's my family, here are my brothers, my mother, my sister, whoever listens, whoever does my will, does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and my sister and my mother. And I just love how there's nothing that you can give up to follow Jesus that he doesn't give back to you in double measure. Like, these people might have left their families and left their jobs and been people like, what are you doing? And right there, Jesus owns them as his family, as his brothers, as his sisters, as his mothers. And that's the same for us this morning. So yeah, Jesus is not easily discouraged. Let's take heart, let's take encouragement from that. And then let's be those that are not too familiar with him and come hungry and wanting more of him and wanting to hear what he has to say to us. All right. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.